say that, all the Indian tribes in the area recognize that this is Duwamish land.
Yeah, yes, and they still recognize that the Duwamish. Yeah.
Yeah, say
Okay,
that
we're
as a
good.
sentence.
Yeah.
That,
Okay. Okay.
That,
okay.
We could tell, because there's some people who think the Duwamish
Yeah,
tribe doesn't
yeah.
exist.
In 1953, at the Indian Termination Bill at Congress, they listed the Duwamish for termination. Okay, so right now they're no longer a federally recognized tribe. Apparently, what they did is they swept all of the non-reservation tribes under the rug. Somewhere in the 50s and 60s, I asked the BIA, and they said we don't know when it was done or why it was done. We just know it was done. Now the officials now. Anyway, it was done. But they're still recognized, the Duwamish tribe and the Duwamish territory are still recognized as being a viable entity in the Indian world. Let me illustrate. In 1989, when they had the centennial, paddle to Seattle, they landed down here on Shilshaw Bay, and the Duwamish were in charge because this is Duwamish territory. The Shilshaw Indians were Duwamish Indians, and Cecile was the master ceremonies. This is another example. When they had the 150th anniversary celebration of the Wilkes expedition discovery of Puget Sound, they had some boats sail in, and they had people dressed up like the old native in the old Navy costumes, and they sailed in these boats and were welcomed by the Snoqualmie and 30 by the Duwamish and 34 other Indian groups that were there.
Sorry, Ken. Could you say that all over again, just so we can, so when they sailed in?
Okay, on a certain day, to celebrate the Wilkes expedition, they sailed in to the Port Orchard, Bremerton area with their sails, up, and they landed, and they had a traditional landing where they docked and came down, and the Indian leader of the Duwamish tribe met him, Cecile Maxwell met him, and welcomed them onto her territory. And then they had a ceremony and gave things out to different people. But here were some of the Duwamish members who welcomed them. All of these 4 people happened to be on the Duwamish Tribal Council at the time. And they dressed up in their traditional blankets and went down and met them. Again, it was Duwamish territory, and the Duwamish were acknowledged by the government of the United States.